What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the channel. Today we're going to have my final NBA mock draft. This is being filmed Tuesday afternoon, the day before the 2024 NBA draft. This is going to be my final draft, my final thoughts on these picks. I'm filming this so close to the draft, so we kind of have all the reports coming out. This is my very, very, very final ideas and thoughts about this draft class. It's kind of an odd draft because you don't have that top end talent, but you've got a lot of good talent spread out. I mean, you're going to be able to get good players deep into the first round and maybe even into the top of the second round. So we're doing the full first round today for this final mock draft. You guys loved the last mock draft video I posted. If you haven't seen that one and you want to see more draft content, go back on my channel, check that one out. I also did a collab mock draft on another channel as well. We will have a collab coming out after the draft as well. But let's get started here with the number one pick. Oh, by the way, this is what I think will happen. Kind of a mix of what I think will happen and what I would do, because those are two very different things, in my opinion. Because I don't think, if I was GMs, I think I would take some slightly different picks than probably what is going to happen. But there is a reason I am not an NBA GM and I'm sitting here filming a mock draft video, right? But the Atlanta Hawks got lucky in the lottery, got the number one overall pick. Personally, if it was me, I'm probably going Alex Sarr here because I think you need to move on from Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu as that center, get an athletic freak in Sarr. However, I don't think they're going to end up going for Alex Sarr. It seems like Shakeup has kind of taken over as the guy who they're going to take number one overall. I'm kind of going to follow the reports in that one. He's got good size, a little bit thin for his frame, 195, good size, 6'8" for the wing position. Kind of can play that 2-3-4 hybrid in a modern-day NBA offense. He's a 3-and-D guy, right? He's got a good shot. Good connective passer, maybe not going to set up an offense, probably not going to put the ball on the floor a lot and create his own shot, but he's going to play it well alongside Murray and Trae Young if they decide to keep both or one of them, provide some good defense as well. He's got length at the wing position. I don't think he's got the highest ceiling, probably projects pretty similarly to how like Brandon Miller did last year, although I think after Miller's rookie year, he's going to be a lot better than people thought. But Shakeup goes to the Hawks, young guy, but can help him to compete right away as a 3-and-D wing. Then you get to the Wizards. For me, this one's going to be Alex Sarr. In my previous one, I gave them Rob Dillingham. However, if Sarr does drop to you at number 2, you just go with the highest possible upside, the highest potential, and I think Sarr has probably the highest potential in this class. The offensive game hasn't fully come around yet. He's kind of a rim runner right now. Doesn't have a ton of post moves. He's going to go pick and roll, catch lobs. He's got great defensive versatility at the moment. The blocks are there. The contest is there. The size is there. Maybe a little thin again. He put on a little muscle in the NBA. But the athletic profile is there. You're just banking on him developing. And he'll be that lead center over there in Washington, which leaves us with the Rockets at 3. For me, this is Reed Sheppard perfectly. I mean, this dude, perfect for kind of like a 1-2 guard in the modern NBA. He shot 50% from 3. I mean, that's ridiculous. 50% from 3 for a full season at Kentucky. He's not going to be, the greatest player of all time. He's got a high floor as well. He's going to be a good player. Probably not the highest ceiling. Not sure how much he'll really develop past what he already is, but he's perfect for the Rockets system. He can play alongside their lead guards, kind of develop into that Fred VanVleet role that they currently have, be their lead guards, set up the offense, hit some threes, and play some tough defense. It's kind of hard for him. He puts a lot of effort in the defense, but only being 6'1", 182, he's not going to be able to play stifling defense, but as long as he puts the effort in, you're fine with that, which leaves us Spurs at pick number 4. Personally, for me, I'm probably looking lead guard here to play alongside Wemby because you don't really want to go with Jeremy Sochan at center again, or at point guard again, sorry, which probably leads me to go Stephon Castle. I think this is probably the most likely top 4 that you'll see tomorrow night. Castle's wanted to be, the lead point guard. He's been vocal about that. His camp has been telling teams that he wants to be the lead guy. I think he has a chance to do that here. His shot hasn't really developed yet, but I think he'll play fine in pick and roll alongside Wemby. He's a good shot creator, at least inside the paint. Little mid-range game. The 3 needs to develop. The passing probably needs to develop, but I think having Wemby will help, and obviously being coached over there in the San Antonio system will help as well for Castle. And then at pick 5 with the Pistons, I'm very tempted to go Donovan Clingan. However, I think you're going to build around Jalen Duren. So where do we go with the Pistons? Probably upside, right? Upside. Man, I think I'm gonna go Cody Williams with this one. They need wings, specifically wing shooters, and I think Williams has that ability. They have him listed here at 6'6". I think ESPN has him at about 6'8". So he's in that range of a tall wing. Scored efficiently at Colorado this year. Was kind of like the third or the fourth option at times. So he didn't have a high volume of shots. But he made the ones that he took. Pretty decent three-point shooter, about 40% on about 1.5 attempts per game. He's going to provide solid defense, solid three-point shooting right away. You're kind of banking on that ability to put the ball on the floor, create his own shot, developing a little bit. But he'll play good alongside Cade, provide some shooting for the other guard of Asar Thompson. And I think Cody Williams fits in with the Pistons well. I think he'll probably end up going higher than people expect come tomorrow night. And with the Hornets at 6, this is an easy. Donovan Clingan. I know you have Mark Williams over there. However, I do think Clingan is a better overall player than Mark Williams, or will project to be an overall better player. He's got the size, he's got the chops, he's got the winning ability. I mean, you've seen him win in college. 2 years in college and 2 national championships. It's not a bad ratio at all. A good rebounder, good defensive player. I think that offense is going to be able to develop, and you can put him next to a really good passer in LaMelo Ball, kind of develop a tandem duo of pick and roll there. I really like that pick for the Hornets. They just need good players. They just need talent. I mean, that's really all they need. They just need talent right now, and you get that with Donovan Clingan. And the Blazers are another team I go high upside, right? And I think you're probably looking here at Matas Buzelis, maybe Ron Holland, maybe you even look at like Devin Carter here. However, I do think they go higher upside, and we're gonna go Ron Holland here. He's a complete wild card because he was projected, number 1, top 3 at the beginning of the season. Didn't play late for the G League Ignite, and now he's projected anywhere between like 7 to 20. You don't really know where he's gonna go. Great slasher, great scorer inside, good finisher, extremely athletic. He just doesn't have a shot. And the defense is good. He's going to be, a defensive slasher at the moment. I'm not sure how well you want to pair a guy who can't really shoot next to Scoot Henderson, who can't really shoot. But you're banking, again, it's upside. You need to draft a guy who has a lot of potential. Could maybe, scratch an all-star team at some point in his career. And I think with the right development, Holland could do that. And the Spurs back at 8, I gave them Stephon Castle. Where do I want to go with this one? I think I see the guy staring right at me. Dalton Connect. They've been rumored to be, looking at Dalton Connect and doing some deep dives. They worked out with Dalton Connect. A great shooter, a good, on the ball scorer. He can dribble. He can put them on the floor too. Also can catch and shoot. Provide some rebounding. Not a good defensive player, and he's a little bit older of a prospect. However, I think he fits well as a forward next to Wemby. When you have that height that Wemby does, you don't need to have the bigger, side of these other positions like the forward position. I think Connect at 6'5" is perfectly fine to play in that offense. And I think he'd fit well next to Stephon Castle as well to kind of counteract that shooting. Now we have 9 with the Grizzlies. I know they've been trying to target a center. They need rim protection bad. And I'm going to reach for a center here, but is it really a reach? Because I'm going Khalil Ware. In recent days, he's been, projected to go late lottery. Here at 9, it's a little bit earlier than I'd say late. This is mid lottery. But I think he could go here. He's got good size, about 6'10", 6'11". ESPN has him listed. He's a good scorer around the rim. That shot, he shot pretty well on very limited attempts at Indiana. Maybe you think that he could become at least a decent, stretch 5. If she shoots 34% from 3, you're happy with that. A great rebounder. Maybe not the best rim protection, but he does go for contests. He just doesn't always get the blocks, maybe fouls a little bit, but you think you can develop him into being, a full-time good rim protector for you. And the Jazz at 10, I think the best player available is still Robbie Dillingham, but they don't need point guard. They don't need a guard. You like, Keontae George. You like where he might be able to develop. Scrolling down here, you still have Jordan Clarkson. You're probably not going guard. So where does that lead us? That leads probably just go Matas Buzelis. I mean, it's same kind of thing with Ron Holland. Is he was projected top of the draft at the beginning of the year, went to Ignite and didn't play well. The shooting in his senior year of high school was good, but in his other years of high school plus Ignite, it was bad. So you don't know if that shot's really going to be there or not. He said himself that if he shot the ball well last year, he'd be the number 1 pick. Maybe that's true. He's got the athletic profile and the skills to do it. Another high upside, the Jazz, another team that just needs talent. And speaking of another team that just needs talent, oh my gosh, the Chicago Bulls. traded for Josh Giddey and didn't even get a first-round pick back. What do we do with the Chicago Bulls? Oh, Bulls fans, I feel for you. I really do. Do you really want to go with Rob Dillingham? I don't know how well he pairs next to Kobe White, and you're probably looking at lead guards of White and Caruso. I think Levine's on his way out the door. So we'll go upside. Well, another team, just go for upside, draft for potential, develop somebody. Tijan Solon from France, another guy, kind of plays that 3-4 hybrid, forward switchable wings. He can guard both positions. I think he can probably guard as high as the 5 as well. He's a good defensive player. That shot is there. Kind of just has a lot of developing to do in all aspects of his game, but he's got some talent there. Bulls need to just go upside. Take a project player. You have the luxury to be able to do that. Thunder at 12. I really hate having Rob Dillingham slip this far, but it seems in more recent days that that's kind of the direction he's going. So what do we go with the Thunder? They can afford to take a luxury pick. We'll go with Topic, right? He's kind of a pretty similar mold to what Josh Giddey was. You can replace him with a guy in the draft. He's got a partially torn ACL, so he's probably not going to play much this year. And on the Thunder, he's not going to crack that rotation much anyways. But you might as well take and develop a guy who's tall, got good passing ability. The shot's not really there. Maybe projects well as just like a lead guard with a little bit of defense in him. And then the Kings at 13. This one's very easy for me. Let's go Devin Carter. I think he can play next to De'Aaron Fox. You've got 2 lead guards, that means, with Carter and Fox. I don't think having 2 lead ball handlers is a bad thing at all. In fact, I encourage it because it takes the pressure off of your one if you have another guy who can do it. Carter improved a lot as a 3-point shooter this last year. You're hoping that carries over to the NBA this next season. Either that, he's an efficient, very athletic scorer, drives to the rim, like a lot. That's where most of his scoring came from, was driving to the rim, and he had athletic finishers. He's a strong guy, good size, a great rebounder for a guard too, by the way, and probably the best thing I didn't even talk about defense. He's got the chops to be an all defensive player at some point. I think he could do that in Sacramento. And back up with the Blazers, we gave them Ron Holland earlier. Am I really gonna have Rob Dillingham drop out of the lottery? I think I am. And it's not like, again, it's just the way these picks fall. The teams don't really need that undersized point guard unless you're at the very top of the draft. And how high does he really go? I don't know. I hate to have him drop, but I'm going to. I'm going to take Jacoby Walter in this one. Walter projects more as kind of like that off guard, not a lead guard. Great 3-and-D player, good shooter right away. He needs a lot of other developing, though, on defense. And to be able to put the ball on the floor, score off the dribble. But I think Portland's a fine place to develop right now because they're probably going to end up trading Anthony Simons, so that frees up a guard spot for them. And the Heat at 15, what do the Heat do? They draft well. And Rob Dillingham is right in front of them. And I'd love to have him on my team as a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I don't think that's going to happen. To have the Heat get him right in front of me, I'd be so mad. He's one of my favorite players in this class, honestly. I think he's maybe has the best shot at being a multiple-time NBA All-Star. He's just got it. He's got the it factor. I don't know how to explain it. And you know about Kentucky guards. They tend to play well in the NBA. So we'll go with Dillingham for the Heat. They're happy about it. And my Sixers here at 16, where I would go personally as a Sixers fan, is I'd probably take Isaiah Collier. Same thing I said earlier. It's never bad to have 2 lead guards. If he can tap into that potential, he can play alongside Tyrese Maxey. I like the idea of Bub Carrington as well. And I don't mind Jared McCain. But they're probably going to end up going a guy closer to De Silva. And if De Silva's here, I think they do take him. He's older, more NBA ready to compete and contribute right away for the team. They've only got 4 players under contract, so they need someone who can play right away. And I think De Silva can do that at the wing position. He's got good size. Replace Tobias Harris. And the Lakers at 17. Let's go Zach Edey. It's been talked about. And again, these rumors, sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. I'm going to bank on this one being true because you get the big-time player in the big-time city. I think he can rebound, clear out space for Davis and LeBron. Not a bad pick at all there. And the Magic at 18. I'm going to go Furphy, Johnny Furphy here. I think they need wing shooters. They've got wings, but they're not necessarily wing shooters. I don't think Caleb Houston really worked out. I don't think Jet Howard's working out. Jonathan Isaac isn't a wing shooter, and neither is Chuma Okeke. Might as well go for a guy who's tall and can shoot the three. He's a little bit of a project. Develop. Why not? Orlando's done a pretty decent job in recent years developing talent. And the Raptors at 19. I'm going to go high potential again and go with Kaishan George. Another one of those tall wing shooters, 6'7", was only a freshman, 209. The averages are amazing, but you're banking on that potential. Again, a high athletic guy. Not the best finisher, but he shows athletic potential. He's a good shooter right away, good 3-and-D player. I think he works to play it well alongside guys like Emmanuel Quickley and R.J. Barrett. And the Cavs at 20. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They're tough for me. And I'm tempted to go. I think I've got where I'm going. I do. I'm looking either at Terrence Shannon or Baylor Scheinman. I think they need bench wing scoring because I don't think Okoro's going to do that. I don't think Karis LeVert is a consistent option. He's also only got 1 year left on his deal. So I think I'm going to go Terrence Shannon. He's a scorer. That's what he does. And he plays the wing position. He can come off the bench, get you maybe 10, 12 a game. You're happy with that as a bench scorer. He was recently cleared of the charges that he was accused against, so good for Shannon. He should have a nice long NBA career. Now here at the 21st overall pick, Jared McCain's here. Let's just go draft best player available. I think the Pelicans are in a good spot to be able to do that. He projects very similarly to Emmanuel Quickley, and if they got an Emmanuel Quickley type player to play in that starting lineup as a lead guard alongside Zion, I don't think they'd be mad about that one. So we'll go with McCain there. The Suns at 22. I like Yves Misi here because I don't really love Yusuf Nurkic as a lead center anymore. I think he's a little bit out of his prime, even though he's like barely even 30. You get an athletic rim runner. He can catch lobs. He can block shots. He can contest. He can rebound a little bit. He's a good athletic center you can mold into being a starting guy in the future. And then we get the Bucks. The Bucks need someone who can play it right away. I really think they do, and I think they're probably looking at the wing position. They're weak on the wings. Very weak on the wings. And that brings me to Baylor Scheierman, right? He's 6'6". He can play that wing position. He's a good scorer, good shooter right away, a great rebounder for his size. He's going to struggle on defense, but he's going to be able to contribute right away. He's 22 years old already. The Bucks kind of need some instant contribution. That leads us to the New York Knicks. They've got 2 back-to-back picks. So you can go one with potential and one with help right away, and I think that's probably what they'll do. The first one, let's go Ryan Dunn. That's your help right away. He's a lead defender. If you just need to oh my gosh. If you need to sub somebody in, I don't know why that was so hard to say, just to shut a player down, it's Ryan Dunn. That's your instant impact. Then we go with potential. Let's go Tyler Smith, right? He's an incredible shooter, but everything else in his game needs to be developed. But he's got size and he's got shooting ability. You can develop that. The Knicks take a project and then take a pure defensive player. I don't think that's a bad draft for you guys at all. Now we have the 26th pick, the Wizards. We gave them Alex Sarr. Let's go Bub Carrington. You need a point guard. Bub Carrington can do that. He's got all aspects of his game. He's a defender. He's a rebounder. He's a good passer, and he's an off-the-ball scorer. I think Carrington, honestly, is also one of my favorite players in the draft. You follow me on Twitter. I talked about him earlier in the cycle about as one of my guys. Next we have the Timberwolves. I'm going to go Tyler Kolek. I think you like Mike Conley at point guard, but he's getting up there in age. Kolek at 22, he's ready to come in and compete right away. He's a good shooter, a decent scorer, not great athletically or on defense, but he's a great passer. I think he can come in, honestly, can take that role from Conley maybe next season as a starting point guard. He's got what it takes. He's a good player. And then we have the Denver Nuggets here with the third last pick. The Nuggets tend to draft well. Let's go Deron Holmes. I think he might end up going higher than this. He kind of projects very similar to like Aaron Gordon, right? He's got that size around the 6'8". He's really athletic, great dunker, and he can shoot the ball. The offense kind of ran through him at Dayton, and I think just getting more, bigs over there, big wings, is kind of what the Nuggets do. They hoard big wings. And now we have the Jazz. Earlier we gave them Matas Buzelis. Now let's go with a project guard. Isaiah Collier. Let's do it. Collier was, one of the top recruits in the nation this past year. He was a 5-star recruit. Never really tapped into the potential at USC. he's got good counting stats here, but just never really showed what, the true talent was. And I think he's going to go in the first round. He's going to be, a high upside project guy. But the Jazz are able to take players like that at this moment. And that leaves us with the Boston Celtics. And I think we gifted them somebody right here with Kyle Filipowski. He's a Boston type guy, if you know what I mean. He's a stretch big. He can shoot the ball. He can block some shots. He can rebound. And I think you can kind of project him into the role of an older Al Horford. Once Horford is gone or retired, you can slide Filipowski into that role, and I think it works really well for the Celtics. So that's the class. Kind of scroll here slowly, take a look at the picks. You guys let me know who the favorite pick was in this class or in this mock draft that I made, and also let me know who you want your favorite team to take in the draft. For me personally, as a Sixers, like I said earlier, I'd be happy with De Silva. I'd be happy with Devin Carter. I would really, really love if we took Bub Carrington as well. Those would kind of be my top guys. And by if any world, I don't think it will. If any world Rob Dillingham falls to us, I'd be happy with that. But yeah, that's a mock draft. You guys can watch the NBA draft tomorrow night as it's being posted. This video is being posted on Tuesday afternoon. The draft will be tomorrow night. You're going to want to subscribe and turn on those post notifications because I'll have draft content happening after the NBA draft as well, and then starting up on college football content soon. So that's going to be it for me. Like I said, leave a like, subscribe. All my socials are down there in the description, and I'll see you all in the next video.